Welcome, sinners.
Hi, welcome to Tammi and the Preacher podcast. I'm Tammi.
And I'm the Preacher.
And on this podcast, we're going to talk about all things sex. So strap in or strap one on and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Tammi and the Preacher. Although we do not have the Preacher with us today. The episode that the Preacher and I recorded became corrupt, and we've lost all the audio file. And since we air these on a Taboo Tuesday, and today is Sunday, apparently I could not get the Preacher to come be naughty on a Sunday. So there's that. But we do have a special guest. And I am introducing to everybody the sadistic Maximilian Gundersnatch III MG3.
It's a family name.
So, Max, you have been listening, and why wouldn't you? Because you and I are married to each other, and I'm mean, and I make you listen to these podcasts. And
like I don't hear you enough.
See why you're being an asshole already. See, this is what I'm talking about, folks. Max is a sadistic motherfucker.
I'm just drawn that way.
So, what's your opinion so far on how me and the Preacher are doing?
Well, it's, no large surprise to me that you did have issues because I think that all your episodes are corrupt.
Oh, really?
They're morally bankrupt, yes.
Morally bankrupt. I think that we bring a little, no, we don't bring no morals to it. I'm sorry. I was going to try to lie, but I can't. There's no morals to this fucking podcast, and there's not supposed to be. So, do you have any kind of input on our sex talk here?
Input on your sex talk? No, I just, I did mention the fact that Preacher needs to open up more, and I believe he responded something about his wife needs to open up more.
You know she's going to listen to this, right? And that's what you want. You want her to be mad at you. Well, the Preacher said the Preacher's wife is quite mean, but I don't think you're afraid of her at all.
No.
Well, I do have a couple of topics that I thought might be fun to talk about with me and you. Since some of the world kind of already knows a little bit about, mine and your adventures, we'll just go ahead and put it like that. Outside of that, there is one thing that you and I can do together, and we can talk about music, because I learned something from you that I did not know, and I did a little research on it, but you did a lot of research on it, and that is the band called Rock Bitch.
Yes, Rock Bitch.
And from what you said, they throw golden condoms in the crowd.
Yes, and male or female, whoever catches it has the opportunity to go backstage and enjoy in the festivities.
Now, go ahead and explain what you explained to me about this band and some of the things that they do. And from what I understand, they've been banned in a lot of venues because of their antics.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost, from what I read, describe it as like live sex shows with a little bit of music playing in the background.
Really? And you said these ladies, it's an all-woman band, all-female band, and they're supposed to be kind of witchy?
They've had different lineups, but I think the current one is all-female.
Okay, so they have had some men into the band.
Yeah, I think in the beginning they did.
So the whole thing is that they'll just fuck anybody in the crowd.
Apparently so.
It's like if you have a backstage fantasy with a band, you would want to go see this band because your chances are pretty good.
But yeah, that's my understanding. But of course that was, Wikipedia, and you never know who the hell wrote that page. So. Well,
Vanity, what is it, Vanity Fair? Mm-hmm. I read an article about them on Vanity Fair. And I don't know if it was the real Vanity Fair because the website kind of looked a little off. So we're going to go the Wish version of Vanity Fair, maybe. They actually did a article on them that said that they perform satanic sex acts behind stage. Do you think that might be true?
I think that sounds like a little bit of PR there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because, once a band hits devil worship stats, then, they're on the list. They're number one.
Yeah. And as I recall reading, there are a couple of the members who are self-proclaimed Wiccans, I believe. And so, of course, you say that, and good Lord, people like the preacher come flying out of their church like their pants are on fire, start screaming to the heavens about, oh my God, it's the devil.
Yeah, not our preacher.
Yeah.
Our preacher's naughty. You found that amusing.
I did.
Yeah, so, but on those lines of, bands and, sex, do you have a go-to song or a go-to band that makes you feel in the mood, or are you just kind of whatever?
Oh, it's definitely R. Kelly, because anytime you play some R. Kelly, you can have some golden moments, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Oh my God. This is why we don't put you on here. Oh, I hope that our listeners know what we're talking about. It's one of those beautiful water sports moments.
No, if you don't know, you're better off not knowing. If we're talking about R. Kelly, you're probably too young to know anyway.
Okay, and on a serious note, do you? Because I even don't know if you have like a go-to fuck song. I know that in the crew, in our group, we kind of touched on it. I think you were joking when you said Rob Zombie for every song or every moment. Like that was your stripper song. That was your fuck song.
Yes. That was my lullaby when I was a child. You bet.
So do you have one?
No, absolutely not.
Well, I think everybody knows that mine, and it's kind of corny. It's SWV Week.
Actually, yours is not. I am your husband, and I can say that is not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
Yours is Vader's March from Star Wars.
Okay, my second is SWV Week. I do not make you play the Imperial March every time we go to fuck, okay? I just don't do it.
Yes, she does.
No, I don't.
I have to walk out of the bathroom. She starts playing the music. I have to put on the lightsaber-colored condom and then jump into the bed.
Well, see, if you did it right, you would command me with the Force.
Ain't nothing about you and sex needs force.
You piece of shit. Max is a sadistic motherfucker. So since this is a sex talk podcast, what's your input? As being my temporary co-host for this episode.
I don't know. I'm just waiting for a topic.
Anything that has to do with sex. Do you have a story to tell? So let's talk about your BDSM days. What were those like?
Ooh, those were quite eye-opening back in the day. That was my first experience with, being present while someone was being beaten for fun. They seemed to enjoy it. I was all right with watching it.
Were you ever beaten?
No.
So
no, I told you, just not wired that way.
Well, I didn't know if there was another woman that actually, could dominate you, because I would kind of like her phone number.
No, I told you that. The girl I was seeing back in those days, I let her know right off the bat. Pretty much the usual role that the men she met was not going to be my role. And
she just seemed to kind of be okay with that.
Yeah.
And see, with my BDSM experiences were quite different than yours, because we kind of compared notes, where I think that every party or every, I don't know what they call them, person's group of BDSM is different. But I think the rules are always the same. Everything's consensual.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do anything that you don't want to do. Everybody establishes their safe place, their safe word, and you're basically role-playing in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So did you ever get into any of the role-playing aspects of that, that world?
Not so much, not on purpose anyway. And I'd ham it up a little bit, because a lot of people did see me not really as a dominant. They called me daddy.
Oh.
And so I would, just kind of play that up a little bit at the parties and stuff. But other than that, nothing really.
So you were just kind of like, and I know that you were with one of the leaders, I should say. You were with one of the head people in your group. So did you just kind of stand back and watch? Did she do things that were in her little realm of stuff that you were okay with? Did you have to be okay with it?
I did not have to be okay with it. And then I did actually watch her do her stuff to one of the guys that was in our group. And I wasn't very comfortable with it. And she said, well, I just won't do it in front of you anymore. And I said, okay, works for me.
Well, can you elaborate, or do you not feel comfortable saying that some of the things she did that you weren't comfortable with?
Well, as I think you touched on before, after a good, hard stroke, usually you want to have to or give them a light touch afterwards. Mm-hmm. Nah, I wasn't very pleased with that.
Oh, so you were okay with her beating a man, but you weren't okay with the light, tender, touching and rubbing afterwards.
It was a little bit intimate to me, and I didn't like it.
So you were kind of into her in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all's relationship went beyond physical to emotional.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that you would not be comfortable with me doing something like that.
Watching you do it, probably not, no.
Okay, so I could do it away from you. You just wouldn't want to see me do it.
Yeah.
Well, did you enjoy that life? Did you want to keep it up?
It was interesting to me, but of course I was a newcomer, and she'd been in the lifestyle for quite a while, and she kind of wanted to get away from it.
Oh, okay. So you just followed her like a puppy.
Not so much. There was some issues that led to her moving away. Pretty much ended her involvement in the lifestyle and in that group that she was in.
My experience with it was way different than yours. I did get involved, but I didn't get involved in everything because there were a lot of things that I didn't think at the time I was comfortable with that now, being older, I probably would be comfortable with. But I don't know if I would want to go seek out another BDSM group to, try to do this. I mean, I have you. We've talked about, our sex lives before each other, and then there's our sex life with each other. And you have given me a lot of room in my life to kind of explore a lot of things. And you haven't said no to too much. So I do appreciate that. I am lucky in that way that I can just say, hey, there's this girl and I really want to go fuck her. And you're like, yeah, okay, just bring me back some pictures and some panties. And I do. There's just not a lot of that, with a lot of relationships, and where I can sit here and say that you and I are pretty unique. We might be unique in our own circle, but I don't think we're unique to the world.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, because there's some freaky shit out there, and you are the king of finding freaky shit. What are some freaky things that you have ran across that you've read about or even experienced? Because, I think our listeners might like to know since, you're Max.
Well, there's an amazing treasure chest of stuff on that old HBO show they used to have on. When I was growing up, it's called Real Sex. I forget how many episodes they ended up having of that, but oh yeah, there was just a treasure trove of all kinds of issues on that show. I mean, the people that got sexually aroused by machines, machine-related things. I mean, it's quite weird. I remember watching it and just, it was like a girl getting turned on holding an angle grinder, you know what I mean?
Wow.
It's like, what the hell,
Everybody has their thing, man. Everybody.
That is true.
I don't
if you
think...
can come up with it, there's probably somebody that'll, get wet or get a boner over it.
I have my little quirks, but I don't... My whole thing is the power tools have to be held by somebody, and then that person becomes sexy to me regardless of who they are. So I couldn't get turned on by the jigsaw, but I might get turned on by who's holding it, even though they might be nothing to me before or after that.
Yeah, if she tries to deny me, I just put on a tool belt and she's putty in my hands.
Yeah, it's kind of sexy. I got a thing for men who are working. It's a thing.
Her power tool is, made by Hitachi, so.
Oh my God. And yeah, you folks might hear some construction in the background here, and that's because they are...
She forgot to turn her toy off. That's what it was.
They're renovating the house next door, and, men and power tools and working. It's hard for me to walk outside. So there's that.
I heard tell a witch was moving into town.
Hey, you leave our Wiccan goddess out of this. Because she's probably got some things to say about you. We could put her on the show, and she could tell everybody in agreement with me how
all
sadistic.
She's got to say about me takes all of 3 words, and that's it.
Yeah, fuck you, Max.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So you and I, we've had a very interesting life together. A lot of people seem to think in our little circle of friends that we're master freaks.
We just read a lot.
People think that behind our bedroom door is some dungeon of sex slavery, and in reality, it's just organized clutter, and we don't want nobody to see it.
Yeah, and the one person that has broken through that stronghold, he doesn't really remember that well.
Boner. Our buddy Boner ended up in bed with us one night. It was quite the interesting experience because we were both drunk, and Max, of course, was drunk, and I went to bed. I was done with the evening, and I left Boner on the couch. And we woke up, and there he was, and Max was yelling, what the fuck? He thought he done got involved into a docking situation that he wasn't quite aware of.
And I, as the captain, was not ready to dock.
But it's quite the strange feeling, I'm sure, to wake up and find somebody in your bed. And
it was quite humorous, though. You talk about that, our bedroom being a dungeon. The woman that I was involved with in Tulsa, that was quite humorous because if you didn't really have a clue as to what she did in her personal life, if you ever walked in her bedroom and you shut the door, all the evidence was hanging on the back of the door.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I see.
Yes, that was quite humorous.
So was she a strap-on type of person?
Mm-mm.
Oh, she wasn't?
No.
That you knew of?
Well, I think I would know.
Maybe not, I mean, you guys might have had secrets.
We were pretty open with each other.
I enjoy strap-ons, but it's one of those things where I feel like when I've had a strap-on used on me by a female, it's not done right at all.
A lot of the porns that I watched where the women have the strap on, they, put it on there and you're thinking, all right, get to town. They have no rhythm whatsoever.
That's it. They don't really know what they're doing with it. Where you can't blame them. I mean, we're women. We haven't been born with this fucking dick that we have grown to know to use in a certain way. We're faking it to make it. And I would just rather the strap-on be completely out of the picture altogether if it's not going to be used right. Like there are women that's had better rhythm in their wrist with a dildo than they have with the strap-on.
And I've seen that in, plenty of porn. And they'll go to town on another girl holding, a dildo or a vibrator. But once they strap something on, it should be a hot situation. And to me, it's just awkward. Looking at a train wreck. Yeah, it's just awkward.
It's awkward. It's not, and I've been on the receiving end of that. And I don't think I do any better myself. I just know that if I'm told that I'm not really great with the strap on, then I'm going to take that as constructive criticism. And I'll be like, well, bitch, I got a tongue that's better than that. And that's just how I feel about it. But as women, we don't really know what we're doing with a dick.
Now, see, I've got a question, especially concerning a video I watched recently. It was French. It was quite humorous. But two of the ladies were wearing the head strap dildos.
Oh, God.
On top of their heads, look like unicorns.
Yeah.
You ever done that one?
No, I've never done that.
How about the mouth one?
Yes. Were that like the ball gag type of situation?
But it's the dildo.
It's the dildo,
yeah.
Yes.
You did that one?
Yeah, in the BDSM lifestyle world.
Sore neck?
Yes.
Next day?
It was really kind of weird, to be honest, because I'm not really more of a sore mouth than a sore neck. I mean, I can bob my head. So you were
you were using it or getting it used on you? I didn't have a sore neck. I had a sore throat.
I think that at the time that this happened with me, all these years later, I think they might have developed something a little bit more comfortable because it really was a ball gag with a cock on it.
Right.
And it wasn't very comfortable. And there was another girl because it had a strap in the back and she kept grabbing it and pulling backwards. So it really made it uncomfortable for me. So I took no pleasure.
Sounds to me like you were just a wuss.
Okay. We're going to go buy one. You're going to put it in your fucking mouth and see how you like it.
No, I don't think so.
But yes, I have done that, but not the unicorn one. I didn't even know those existed until I started getting into like early 2000s porn. So I didn't even know what the fuck that was. And it looks stupid.
Well, of course it does. But, a lot of things in porn look stupid. What are you going to do?
I mean, if you think about it, if I'm sitting there and I got this like unicorn dildo, what am I going to do? Strap her on my head and just keep lifting her up? I mean,
no, I'd say it'd probably be a bed situation. And that could get kind of humorous. You could have that on your head. So you got a girl laying in bed with your head up in her crotch, and then you got, a dildo in each hand. You're going to town on 2 other chicks there. Then you got to do something with your feet, like a big toe up the butt on, 2 different chicks there.
I don't got time for all this. That's just too much.
Why is there a dance coordinator listed on the budget of this porn? What the hell?
I don't. Here's the thing: is like sometimes when I'm on these hookup websites and I'm trolling for pussy, I never can find what I want. What? It's the truth.
Don't you just love the way she puts it? I'm trolling for pussy.
I am trolling for pussy. I do not want any emotional attachment with these women, so it's a hookup only, and that's what I'm doing. But I never can find what I want. Like, I have to settle for regular old lesbian sex.
Oh, damn. You poor thing.
Okay, well, in the day, when you were on your little phone chat sites looking for fucking pussy.
Oh, I wasn't trolling for pussy.
That's bullshit.
I was cruising for an emotional attachment.
No, you were not. Oh, Maximilian Gundersnatch III, you were not. But my point to this was, when you were trolling for pussy, how many times did you come up disappointed?
Oh, quite a few. You never hit a home run every time you're up at bat.
What's the worst one?
The worst
hookup.
Oh, the worst hookup? Gonna have to edit out all this dead airs, I think. I don't know. As far as the phone thing goes, I don't know.
So you never had a bad one?
If you get some, is it really that bad?
What if it was stinky and cheesy and...
Then I wouldn't have been there.
Well,
there wouldn't be a story to tell. I would have left. Max, out.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. That's kind of what I was looking for, was did you show up and it wasn't even close to what you were expecting? In the terms of, I know everybody says, oh, I'm 5'10" and I got double D's and I have blonde hair and blue eyes, and you show up and the bitch is got nappy brown hair and green eyes and she's 5'4" at best. I'm not talking about those, but did you show up and like kind of it was awkward, or it just didn't happen, or meeting that chick with Ross on Friends and her apartment had gross baloney everywhere and trash? I mean, shit like that. Did you ever show up to a situation, something along those lines?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you could just have all the luck in the fucking world, Max.
No, if I had all the luck, I'd have a better batting average than what I got.
Well, I have showed up into some interesting situations that made me uncomfortable. Not necessarily where the bitch was nasty or gross, where we all know those. I've had a couple of those where the bitch needed to hit some shit, was, Irish Spring.
Right.
But I have showed up, where I thought, okay, there's this chick, I'm into her. I've kind of been talking to her for the last 45 minutes. Let's go fuck and get it over with. Getting horny. More I think about it, psyching myself up. And I show up and it's like a really awkward situation. Like, she's still living with her parents. And her and her brother still share a fucking room at the age of 20-something.
So the parents weren't into the group thing or what?
I don't know. It was... I didn't stick around to find out. It was awkward. And one of those things that happen, it's like I get shy on what am I going to walk into? So that's why I try to make a neutral environment. I don't want to meet anybody at their house ever. I've had a few of those, so I don't want to walk into people's houses. So it's like, let's just get a hotel room and make it neutral.
See, I'm not going to spend the money on that.
Who said I spent the money?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the deal. You want to fuck me, you're going to pony up. So they spend the money.
Wow.
Well, do you have anything for me?
Since you asked me, I'm going to throw it back at you. What was your worst walk-in situation?
I just told you. She was living with her fucking parents and still sharing a room with her brother in her 20s.
Oh.
That really was...
That was the worst? Really?
Okay. Well, If you take away the chick that had Famunda cheese, yes, that was the worst.
Your Irish Spring beauty there.
Yeah, actually, she's not actually the one that I told to hit that shit with Irish Spring.
So you had a couple of those chicks, huh?
Yeah, I actually did not fuck Famunda cheese.
What third world were you visiting? Were you there to help teach Christianity across the world or something? I mean,
no.
Where are you finding these chicks?
I had the worst fucking luck. And when you're drunk and you kind of lose all of your
standards?
Yes, exactly. You just kind of walk into situations.
You were like trolling on the west side of Guthrie or something.
Anyway, I cannot get over the fact that I actually have this story and it's the truth.
Yeah.
And my sister, who is an estheticianist, sees cheese all the time waxing crotches.
And that's just ridiculous to me.
I think so too. I think that if you know you're going to fuck somebody and you know you're going to go get a wax, or you know you're going to go to the gynecologist, you might want to put some soap and water on it.
Good Lord, yes.
But people don't.
And I don't understand that.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So yeah, when that bitch took her fucking pants off, it was not good at all. And I just can't go back there in my mind. It was just too bad.
That does put me in a mind of a video I did see that was Japanese. And that was quite humorous because they had, I'm not even sure what the hell you'd call the group of these video, what their distinction of it was, but it was girls, Asian girls, sucking off uncircumcised Asian men, and there was supposed to be smegma, cheese on their dick, right? When they rolled them back, when they rolled the foreskin back, there's supposed to be cheese there. Okay, well, I don't know who was thinking these were awesome videos, but like I said, I did see one, and the problem with me was I was like, yeah, I don't think so. That's friggin' tofu.
Tofu?
Yeah.
But that's gross.
But the very idea that there was people that found this attractive was what stuck in my head. Because I've eaten tofu, I've seen tofu, I have held tofu, and I was like, that's tofu. That's little slivered up pieces of tofu that they kind of rolled up in their foreskin there.
What do you got to do, or not do, I should say, to get that kind of disgusting on your genitals?
Just clean. All you gotta do is clean it.
But
it's not that hard.
Well, I understand it's not that hard, but some people seem to think it's that hard.
Well, you never know whether to believe Reddit stories or not, but there's Reddit horror stories of men that have been in, hell in their teens and in their early 20s that were never taught, and they were uncircumcised, and they were never taught, you got to pull that skin back, when you're washing, when you're, getting the soap and water down there, you got to get the soap and water everywhere down there.
You would think that at a certain point you'd figure this out, because a lot of men jack off in the shower. And even if you're uncircumcised, you're going to get that skin to fucking flapping. And if you got chunks falling out, you think that would tell you.
You would think, yes.
To maybe scrub it a little bit more.
Right.
Oh, people, wash your dick.
I mean.
Fuck.
Yes, and your vagina.
Yes, wash it.
Everybody, just get the P and the V, Wash them.
Wash them. Just scrub them up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes a gross penis or vagina.
All right.
Nobody. And
according to Reddit, there are people that do. But,
okay.
Like I said again.
Look, there might be something kind of hot and sexy about a woman who's been working out and you kind of get the little musty smell going on.
See, musty, that's not a good word. I don't care. You're going to have to pick a different word than musty. Ooh. Musty is like old and dank. Musty is your grandma.
Well, you like your grandma, right?
Hey, we're not going to bring that
up. Okay, well, what would be a proper word?
Musky with a K?
Musky?
That might be a little bit better.
Okay. My point is sometimes that can be a little, hot and you be turned on by it, but there's a difference between a sweaty, I just worked out, or I just ran a 5K.
Oh, that chick wearing the leotards at the gym. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. I got you on that one, right?
Exactly. But there's a difference between that kind of dirt And I haven't
An
showered
accumulation of dirt.
Yes, accumulation. I mean, that chick, and she was the only chick that had happened to. Like I said, I've gotten some smelly ones. Okay, what are you, 2 days out of a shower? Did you not wipe? I mean, you know, you get those things, and that's fine and whatever, but chunks.
Yeah, it's not right.
Are you shimmering at chunks? Is it making you sick?
Cottage cheese-like substance. Yes, that makes me sick. And that's probably why I don't eat cottage cheese either. Or the whole whipped cream up the ass and then they fart it out and it goes everywhere. Oh, those amuse me just because of the farting sounds.
I couldn't do it, though. That's just it. If some chick was like, oh, hey, I'm going to shove whipped cream up my ass and I'm going to fart it on your face. I couldn't do it, A, with a straight face. I would be laughing uncontrollably. And part of it would gross me out.
Yeah, because if I see one tinge of color on that fucking whipped cream, I'm out of there.
You're done. You're done. Don't get the chocolate ready whip. That's not a fucking good idea because they do make chocolate ready whip.
And that's probably why.
Oh, I do not want this conversation.
Oh, come on. Get down with the freaks out there.
Max, I can't. It's terrible. See, folks, this is where he takes me. He takes me way up a mountain and then throws me off the fucking cliff.
So do we need, the music rights to play Disturbed to get down with the sickness? I think you doing a version of that song would be quite interesting.
Maybe one day I'll practice it and then I'll just kind of throw it in on Preacher. Look at his face because it will be quite humorous.
Especially that one part where it makes the weird noise.
I can't.
What the hell? That was your orgasm sound. That was not even... That's right. Max knows.
No, Max does not know. I've been faking it the whole time.
I know enough to know that nobody fakes it with Max.
I'm sure somebody's faked it with you once.
No. Everybody gets a questionnaire and they have a statement they have to sign at the end of it. And they're all on file.
Don't you have an FBI handler that does the same thing with you?
Big shout out to Tom. Tom's been with me for a while.
Oh, man. Have you ever had any bad hooker experiences?
Oh, fuck yeah. There's hardly ever a good hooker experience.
Now,
I've had him ask for more money. I've had him actually had one jerk away from me at the climax to the evening.
So she left you with blue balls in a sense?
No, she just physically jerked her body back right at that moment.
Her moment or your moment?
My moment.
Oh, yeah. Why?
I don't know.
So she wasn't going to let you come?
No, just as it was happening, she jerked off me.
Oh.
Not jerked me off, but she physically jerked her body off of me.
Well, it couldn't have been a pregnancy thing because y'all wear condoms, right?
Exactly.
Because you weren't fucking any, low trash trucker hookers. You were actually calling a service.
Yes. So
you weren't going down to the local Petromat getting any hookers.
Are they down at the local Petromat? I gotta go.
They're there.
What the hell's a Petromat?
I don't know.
Okay.
The local truck stop.
Oh, no. Dropped a girl off there one time. Picked her up on the side of the road, and she asked if I wanted to party, and I took one look at her and said no. And she was like, well, okay. Well, can you just drive me over to the truck stop? I was like, yeah, sure.
And that's where you took her?
That's where I took her, and I pulled into the parking lot. She said, this is good, and I said, bye.
Well, she was a truck stop hooker, so you probably could have got it for pretty fucking cheap.
She was not attractive, sorry.
Okay, so was every hooker you ever ordered attractive?
No.
But you fucked them anyway.
No, but I didn't call this chick. I thought I was being a nice guy and giving a girl a freaking ride. She was a hooker.
You have nice moments from time to time.
Yeah.
Why not?
Then you have some not so nice moments. Well, I do have a question for you, though.
What's that?
That would be, maybe it's kind of a two-parter, but feel free to, stretch out the subject. But mainly my question is, how many, what you would call sex shops have you been in, would be the first part. And the second part would obviously be, what's the craziest thing you've seen in there?
Well, where we live, we're only subjected by 2 sex shops, which is Christie's Toy Box and is it Priscilla's?
Yes.
Okay.
Where fun and fantasy collide.
We are not sponsored by them, folks, but we would like to be. Wasn't there another one? Patricia's.
Well, now you're making me think.
Right. So we can just go ahead and say 2. There's 2. And
Okay.
the one I've frequented the most is Christie's Toy Box.
Of course.
Well, it's accessible. It's within 25 miles of me. So yeah, I'm going to go to Christie's Toy Box.
Hey, Google, are there sex toys within 25 miles of my location?
I almost thought my phone was going to answer. That would be great.
It was going to say, yes, Tammy, 10 feet.
So the other part was, what's the weirdest thing I've seen? Or
Yeah, the best thing, the weirdest thing that you've ever seen in a sex shop.
wow. So yeah, let me think for a second, because I've seen some pretty interesting stuff. I mean, you have your run of the mill. Oh, we got a dildo. Oh, it spins and lights up. Yeah, that actually jogged my memory. There was a dildo that had 3 prongs, and it actually was clear. You could see through it. It lit up. So it had the big dick. Then it had the little thing that swung, which apparently was for your asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But I never knew what the third one was for. It didn't come off of the main, penis part for your clit. It came in between, where one would go in your ass and the other would go in your cunt. So
it was to tickle your taint.
I guess so. I didn't know what it was for. So
your taint, your Twitter. It's not the twat, it's not the shitter, it's the Twitter.
So I never knew what that was for. So my best educated guess was it was for gay men to self-pleasure themselves. Because maybe do you men have a thing with your Twitter?
Well, I don't think we do. We might. And I just don't know about it. I didn't get the memo.
Maybe I should start linking your Twitter during sex and see what happens.
Okay.
See, I just love it. You're like, okay, let's go. It's go time. But yeah, so that is the weirdest thing in a sex shop. Now, I particularly like the online because you can kind of get a little bit deeper into some of the things you want. So, there's...
That's good with sex toys.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
Why? You phrased it perfectly the first time.
Give it a little bit more variety. You can really kind of search it out. And you don't have that awkward feeling when you're shopping online where the person at the counter is like looking over at you every 5 minutes going, are you going to buy something? Are you going to take it to the back and sample it? What are you doing? So I like the comfort of actually shopping online now that I have the ability to do that.
I think at Christie's, when I took it to the back to sample it, I got asked to leave. So I don't know where exactly the store is that you were at.
There is always that guy, isn't there, that will just go back and sample the product. This is why I don't like buying in a store. But that also brings up another thing, that people actually sell their used sex toys.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Because then we have to think of famunda cheese and tofu.
If you're going to go to the worst situation, then you're going to think of that.
Well, I'm going to think of that. So.
But of course, then the other side of it is, hell, you never know. Maybe the hottest chick you ever seen is selling her fucking dildo to you.
That's what you want to believe.
And maybe that's what you should believe.
Maybe it is. Maybe I should, get my mind out of the cheese gutter and actually think positive about where you get your sex toys. But I would never buy it used. Would you?
No.
See, it doesn't make any sense to buy it used. So people quit selling your sex toys unless you're really got a freak out there that wants to make money on your, pay you for your OnlyFans, and that's the one you use. That's a different situation. Don't take him to your local Goodwill.
One of as a matter of fact, it was the girl in Tulsa that I knew. She cleaned her sex toys by putting them in the dishwasher. And I always found that a little bit odd.
Well, sometimes you got to sanitize, and and you've told me this before, and I know that you find it odd, but I never did find it that odd. I mean, it cleans and sanitizes them. I know,
but you think about it. That's where you put the stuff you eat off of.
Well, you got the top rack for sex toys and the bottom rack for dishes. Actually, you'd want to do that opposite. You'd want to do the bottom rack for sex toys and the top rack for dishes.
It just comes back to whether you're a top or a bottom.
Well, okay, so what is the strangest sex toy that you've ever seen in a sex toy shop?
You really have, it's all pretty much run-of-the-mill things. But when it comes to sex stores, I mean, at a young age, I wasn't there looking for sex toys. I was trying to run in and, as quick as I could, buy some porn mags and get the hell out of the store.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, my problem was I'd be like, oh, 3 for $1? Great. Grab it, throw my money down, take off out the door.
3 for $1.
Yeah. Little bundle package on the sex mags. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. Then you get to wherever the hell it is you're going and peel open that saran wrap they had them wrapped in. And you're like, oh, okay, so the one you saw the cover on, that's a good one. That might be a Club International or a Fox magazine. I was like, yeah. But then you got 2 no-name ones you've never heard of behind that.
Oh, yeah. Like
and
the
you're
generic ones.
It's like, wow, I just got screwed.
Well, were they any good?
Hell no.
Okay.
Like 70s friggin' Bush. And, the biggest part of the magazine is where a reader sent in their photos. We didn't need to see those photos that the reader sent in.
Oh, my God. And you say that, readers send in their photos, and that kind of reminds me of my first husband that worked at the photo developing place.
Yes.
Not the 1 hour photo, but the ones where you send them off for like 3 days and they come back.
Right.
Some of the stuff that he described that was on those camera reels.
Oh, some of the stuff you hear just absolute horror stories from people that were in the 1 hour developing ones.
Oh, God. I can't even imagine.
A lot of porn. Unfortunately, a lot of, the bad kind also.
Yeah.
That they had to phone the cops on.
Yeah, pedophiles.
And sometimes it was just people with their pets.
What would you call the cops on somebody with their pets?
It depends on if the pet has like holding a sign that said "Help me." I might
blink twice.
Yeah.
PETA. Mm-hmm. Call PETA.
or there's a German Shepherd named Rex over on 29th Street that really needs our help.
You just got that sign, Save Rex. But this is...
What was the line from that one movie? You can love your pets. Just don't love your pets.
And everybody in our world knows that I am a photographer, and I have been put in some interesting situations, being a photographer. But before all of that, I have always been a photographer. I've always had a camera. When my first husband actually told me these horror stories, I pulled out the old Polaroid and utilized it and paid that extra $10 for 10 pictures of film, because it was like $20-something for a roll of 10, because Polaroid was kind of going by the wayside. So it was more of a nostalgic thing. So the film was jacked up to an astronomical price, but I wouldn't take any more dirty pictures with a 35 millimeter anymore to get them developed, because it freaked me out.
All right. If you don't have a dark room, don't be doing it.
Yeah. And I never put thought
There's a reason why it's called the dark room.
But you had a dark room.
Yes.
Did you ever take any naughty photos and develop them yourself?
No, because it was the community college's dark room.
Oh, that would have been even cooler if you were developing naughty photos at the community college.
Right. Professor would have been like, why are those personal pictures on there?
Early dick pics, y'all, from the 1980s.
No, I just meant pics of the professor.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding. She wasn't that cute.
Oh, bullshit. I call bullshit. But no, that actually, it brought it to my attention that when you send these photos off, people actually see them.
Yes.
Like, it was in the back of my mind that I never thought of it before. Mm-hmm. And you would think that some of these people, especially that were doing illegal stuff, would have thought of that too, but they didn't.
Sometimes people that do that illegal stuff aren't the sharpest knives in the box.
You're right. Trust me. I know there's probably a lot of pictures out there of my snatch, but they don't know it's mine. So I'll know it. If it comes
I left
up,
your name off of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
So you said this was a 2-part question. Was it just how many stores and then what's the weirdest thing? Was that the 2 parts?
That was the 2 parts, you know, and realistically, Christy's Toy Box, Priscilla's, Patricia's, whatever it is, you're not going to see anything too unusual, except for like the the dildos that are the size of bats, for Christ's sake. You know, you do see occasionally one of those in there, but a point that I was thinking of was that a friend of ours, his favorite story about such things was being in New Orleans. And there was one, I guess, that was right there on Bourbon Street and had window displays. And he said, which forever became the end of a lot of our jokes, was he saw the triple ripple butt plug.
The triple ripple butt plug. Yes. Now I know what friend you're talking about.
So in our conversations, you know, you just couldn't top a triple ripple butt plug. And I know physically you can, you know, but just it sounds like top of the line right there. That's as good as you were going to get, unless they came out with a quadruple ripple butt plug.
But triple ripple sounds better than quadruple. So yeah.
Yes. And of course, that was back in his little church going days when he saw that. And I'm sure he just turned all kinds of red and was like, oh my God, I wasn't meant to see that. Nowadays, you got like dragon dildos and things of that nature, where it's just like, good Lord.
Dragon dildos.
You've never looked up dragon dildos?
Nope, but I am now.
Well, I've mentioned them to you before. They're usually on the colorful side, and they are quite large.
Okay.
And there are many girls willing to show you how far they can take a dragon dildo.
Are they scaly?
No.
Oh, okay. That's not cool.
And they don't breathe fire.
Ugh.
And especially they're not sitting on a big old mound of gold.
I was getting excited.
I know.
Oh, you just popped my fucking bubble, man. No, I've seen more interesting sex toys and porn than I have in the local Christie's toy box or the local Priscilla's or Patricia's.
Right.
I mean, that's just, it is run of the mill. Like I said, that's the weirdest thing I've seen. I still to this day do not know what that third stimulator was for. And it had a little fuzzy ball on the end of it. So,
for tickling purposes or what?
That's what I'm saying. There's the only logical place it could be was for the taint. And really, I'm with you. So if I play with your taint, you're going to have to play with mine. So, or Twitter, whatever we're going to call it. I don't know what we call it. We're just going to play with each other's and see if there's something there, because I just don't know.
Right.
So there is one thing that I am going to talk about that I do want to ask you, because an episode or two ago, we had a listener that wanted to know, you know, our opinion, me and Preacher's opinion on how porn has changed throughout the years. And that listener was actually you.
It was me.
And I feel like that the Preacher and I kind of gave our opinions on it, but what is your opinion on how porn has changed throughout the years?
I think you guys, you know, kind of hit on the big topics with the hair mainly is one of the big ones. And then we've moved, I feel, in quite a large way, we've moved away from what it used to be as far as genres go. But of course, the genres, as more people admit or ask for such content, then the more genres there will be. I mean, think about it, back in the 70s, there were movies that touched on incest, but that might have just been a few movies that touched on incest. Nowadays, everything's stepbrother this and stepmom this and stepsis that.
Right.
You know, that's become such a huge category that it's kind of weird. And to me, that was one of the big movements in porn. And like I said, just the different kinds of porn that are out there, you know, because most people back in the day, when they thought of porn, it was, okay, you know, what, straight porn, you know, man and a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, you want some gay porn? You want two dudes going at it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, two chicks? Okay, we're done.
Right. And then everything like the Preacher and I talked about was everything so commercialized. Like, it's just kind of out there and there's just so much of it. If you really do have a short attention span, you're really not going to get anywhere. As opposed to if you bought a specific DVD or movie VHS back in the day, you really didn't have a choice. That's what you bought. That's what you're stuck with. If that's what you want, you're going to have to get off on it.
Yeah.
These days.
And I got screwed on that one too. Just, you know, like I referred to earlier about the magazines, I got screwed on that one because I had a buddy in college that went down south to where you could buy such things. And he would tell everyone in the college, in the dorm, on the floor, hey, I'm making a run. You want 6-point beer? You want porn? And we go head down south and, get all 3 for whoever on the floor wanted it. Charge them a little extra, and there you go. And one of my first trips there, we stopped at a porn store that was just across the border of our nice little state. And I was like, oh, holy hell, look at this playground. This ain't Christie's Toy Box. This is, quite a bit bigger. What did I do? Again, I screwed up and I went for quantity and not quality.
And that's what me and the preacher were talking about. So
yeah.
Nice to hear your perspective on it, because it is your story.
Damn sure did. I mean, it was a little chunk of change back in the day for, I think it was an 8-hour, 9-hour VHS tape.
And it was the same movie looped.
It was, about halfway through, it started back over again.
See, that would suck for me. I'd be really, really pissed.
And just random ass little clips of stuff that I didn't ask for,
Right.
And so then I thought, okay, well, and I talked to my friend about it. I was like, well, you're the one that goes and makes these trips all the damn time. I was like, that tape, I got sucked. And he was like, well, don't go for quantity. He goes, go for quality. He's like, brand names. He's like, Vivid Entertainment, get you one of them. And he goes, it's 2 hours. He's like, hell, you'll never make it through the damn tape anyway. So what do you care? Yeah.
So that's kind of plays on or answers the question of what's quality porn. And that's the thing with you, is that you know that there's like Vivid and these production names where I don't really know these things. My porn kind of started in the 90s and I didn't pay attention to the producer of it.
Right.
And my porn was always secondhand anyway. It was, my buddy's cousin's neighbor has this stack of porn that he wants to get rid of, but he doesn't want to throw it away in his dumpster because he doesn't want the neighbors to find out or anything like that. Would you like some porn?
Yeah.
And maybe this person would make a couple bucks. Maybe they just give it away, but that's usually where my porn came from.
Yeah, Samantha was like, no, I'm sorry, I only watch Ron Jeremy. The hedgehog. That is the only actor I will watch in a porn. Yes.
Fuck that.
Long John Silver. Long Dong. I think it was called Long Dong Silver. Actually.
It was called Long Dong Silver, and I've never seen it. I've never seen that. I've never seen Two Girls in a Cup.
I've seen Two Girls in a Cup.
I know, and you tried to get me to watch it one time because I also mentioned I'd never seen it, and as soon as...
It's pretty shitty.
You think? As soon as it got to where it was going, where I knew what it was about, I've always known what it was about, but as soon as it got to where it was going, I couldn't watch. I could not actually physically watch what was about to happen, and I've still never seen it.
I always wondered if those girls ever get stopped on the middle of the street and asked for an autograph.
Do you think they get recognized?
I think it's a possibility.
Huh. I never really thought about porn stars getting recognized.
Yeah.
I mean, they have awards for them, so they would have to at some point.
Yes, the old AVNs.
Yes, which...
I remember I liked Celeste back in the day, and I liked Savannah back in the day. Yeah.
See, you know their fucking names.
Of course, Savannah killed herself, so...
Good God, let's bring it down.
I mean, she did. She got in a car wreck, from what I remember. She got in a car wreck and kind of messed up her face, and she thought she would never have a career after that. And so she ran home and grabbed a shotgun and did what people do with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and I would have never known that. I mean, I feel bad now because I've just come to the realization that I don't look at porn as real. These are real people. They have real careers.
They do. Yeah.
And they have real lives and they have real problems. And I feel really bad now that I've come to that realization, that I just never really put thought into that. But
glad I could bring you down.
You're awesome at that. I love it. Just great. Way to make me question myself. Again, folks, Max. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, you really want a fun time, you just get on Wikipedia and look about all the porn stars who died from AIDS. Yeah, that one's fun too.
Well, and I did know that there were quite a few that did die from AIDS, which kind of makes me sad to think that there was not precautions being taken.
There were. That was the whole deal, was that there were precautions being taken, and a lot of the major companies, the producers and all, they didn't want their performers dead, and so they told them, hey, use condoms. And in their movies, they were like, use condoms. And a lot of them went to a clear type condom, so maybe you wouldn't notice it so much. But in quite a few of them, you can clearly watch condoms getting put on, and you can clearly see the condom. And then some of them, and they got tested. They got tested like you wouldn't believe back in the day. And unfortunately, sometimes it didn't catch everything. And unfortunately, you had actors or actresses that would lie. And I remember there was a big scare back in the day. I can't remember this actor's name. He had a banana dick. I remember that. And he went on holiday, I believe it was, or it was for work. I can't remember. And he went down south, way down south somewhere, and did some videos. And so the story I heard was he contracted AIDS down there and didn't know it because he was doing some unsheathed work down there and came back to the States and was still saying he was clean, and he wasn't. And it became a big deal. It was a big deal whenever all of a sudden it came out that, yeah, I'm positive. All the chicks were like, holy crap, when did I work with him? And when did he catch it? And it was big news.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, this is good stuff right here, because I don't think a lot of people kind of understand that there's all this turmoil, because today's porn is a lot of amateurs or OnlyFans.
Yeah, and that's another one of the big changes there also is that there is the homemade content is just way out there now. And
that's kind of one of those things, is that it takes away the realism of, it's not like me and you making a porn. Back in the day, there was actually a whole production to it. We weren't just sitting up our DSLR camera and letting it rock and roll.
Right.
And we had really good editing skills.
Mm-hmm.
Or we had our buddy come and get some close-ups, and and which is not a big deal because people are making money off of that. And I'm always about people making money. But the realism of back in the day was there were real problems, there was real issues, there was real concerns that you had to actually think about. And I didn't even know until you came into my life that there was an award show for porn stars.
Yes, AVN.
And you and I sat down and watched them, and it was quite entertaining. Not necessarily just in the porn sense, but as in these people were really winning awards. These were accomplishments.
Yeah.
And some of the porn that I've seen, I've said before that I just don't like the whole, fake face and whatever. But you have to give it to these people for getting on camera, and that says a lot, because I don't think I actually could do that.
I just wonder if it's like, put up on their mantelpiece or in their china cabinet.
I'm sure it is.
On down the road,
I'm sure they're proud of it.
Little Bobby's going to say, hey, Grandma Charlotte, what is this award for that you got over here that looks like it's a butthole? Well, Billy, that was my 1991 award for best anal scene. So you really won that, Grandma? Yeah, I did. It was a pain in the ass, but I won it, yes.
Well, think about my grandma and who she was and how she was. You knew her. She was not ashamed of anything. So I'm sure these women and these men are
you telling me I'm supposed to remember your grandma that way?
Yeah.
That's a little...
Oh, you thought my grandma was sexy. Don't you lie. Look at that grin. I don't care. My grandmother was a sexy fucking bitch. I don't give two shits what anybody says. She was cool. She was sexy. She had no shame in her game, and she told us the truth every time. So, yeah, I'm sure they're telling little Jimmy the truth.
Little Jimmy starts looking at Grandma in a different way. Then comes the next genre of porn. I wonder what the next one's going to be, the next big one, because, I'm a little... I don't know. I'm a little tired of incest. I'm a little tired of anime. I'm a little tired of,
Oh, well.
Let's find something else.
You don't like anime or hentai? See, I can get into a little bit of hentai, but that's a whole different podcast.
That's the younger whippersnappers that like that hentai crap.
You just aged yourself.
Well, I already did when I started talking about, that I like Celeste and Savannah back in the day. Come on.
Do you think people are going to know who you're talking about?
No. There's some diehards out there that probably know who Celeste was and know who Savannah was and might actually know the hedgehog, Rod and Jeremy,
Well, that kind of, bodes to the old joke when our neighbor's daughter was cleaning out his house and found his porn collection.
Yes.
and gave you a very specific tape.
Yes, she did.
Which was?
Something about butts.
I thought it was like Butthole Lovers. Or...
It might have been, yeah. Where it was just right out there. I mean, they didn't, screw around. It was just, there's the name right there. It's Butthole Lovers.
But the funny thing about this is she was trying to stab you, kind of jab you a little bit by giving you this very specific
I was old and I was getting a porn VHS tape, yeah.
Yes, but the funny part about it was you started naming the actresses that were in it. And she was just like, oh, of course. Max would know who was in this fucking porn. Fuck you, Max. So that was kind of funny, but I never got into the actresses' names. I've never got into...
Yeah, that was a Tracy Lords videotape right there.
See? And I just...
See? And the funny part is there's actually only one Tracy Lords tape that you could actually legally see.
Really?
Even though she had quite a career in porn, she lied about her age. And so most all of her videos, except for one, got pulled. And there is only one legal porn movie that Tracy Lords was in.
Wow.
Yeah. All the others, you're looking at kiddie porn.
Well, listeners, if you can't tell by now, Max likes to read and get in depth with some things because he has gone further than me with porn. I really did not care what their names were, but he does.
Oh, she cared.
I didn't care. Well, have you enjoyed being my guest for this evening?
Yes, I suppose I have.
Well, I do thank you for filling in for the preacher. Now, if I could just get a picture of your pretty penis, it'll be great.
Right. No, I just want to see a picture of my cock, and below it the caption is, the male penis. Just be like, that's right, that's mine.
Oh, I'm going to Carly Simon this one. You're so vain. Oh, I bet you think this podcast is about you. You're so vain. All right, guys, I really do appreciate you listening and putting up with me and Max's antics for your Taboo Tuesday. Be sure to email us in with anything, dirtytalktp@gmail.com. Please log on to our Facebook site and like and follow. That is Tammi and the Preacher. You can also friend me personally, Tammi Preacher, also on Facebook. And if you really like our content, please subscribe, follow, like, share. And if you want to kick us a few bucks, we won't mind.
So wait, I don't get to talk about my handle on any of my dating apps, really?
Well, go for it. If you've got a handle on your dating app, Max, plug it right now. All right, guys. See you later.